All right, Buff Nation. I was impressed with Julian Lewis's debut, but diving into the numbers, I'm even more impressed. And you should have a ton of excitement when it comes to him now being the face of the program. I want to know your thoughts on his performance against West Virginia. Be sure to like, subscribe, hype, and get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. But we're going to start out with the passing chart, guys. And there are some things that I wanted to point out again as an 18-year-old early declare true freshman. Let's take a look at some of these things. Hey, how about this? How about this? This is one of the hardest spots to hit in football. Why? Between 10 and 20 yards over the middle of the field. The windows are tight. You're usually facing pressure. You got to step up in the pocket, right? These are some of the toughest throws to see and to hit. And you even get quarterbacks in the NFL, man, that just they're usually backups, right? Or bad starters, but they just can't hit this part of the field. No. What do we see from Julian Lewis in his first start with a bunch of backup offensive linemen in there, man? We saw him go 4 of 4 for 73 yards and a touchdown, a beautiful touchdown throw, by the way, and a perfect NFL passer rating over the middle of the field between the numbers, between 10 and 20 yards. He's a pocket passer, and this shows you really how far along he already is in his pocket passing. And then, hey, you want to just look at where he was beyond 20 over the middle of the field between the numbers? He was 1 of 1 for 42 yards. How about that? Oh, and for good measure, let's just see where he was over the middle of the field. Before 10 yards, he was 4 or 5 for 31 yards. He was fantastic at hitting all parts of the field. He did miss all 3 of his targets from the outside deep, but that's okay because he also hit 3 of 5 from deep to the left for 88 yards. One of those was a huge touchdown. I believe that was to Amari and Miller. Yeah, he was fantastic hitting all different parts of the field. Hopefully, Brett Bartolone is able to just one thing I would like to see integrate a little bit more is just a little bit more quick game that isn't the screen game, because we had to integrate a lot of that because I think it's kind of clear, Salter couldn't really hit those quick outs and things like that as often as we would have hoped. But I think Julian Lewis definitely can. So let's integrate some more of that quick game out towards the sidelines as well. A few other things that I wanted to highlight here is let's take a look at how he performed against pressure, against the blitz. And this is what I love to see, okay? If you're going to be blitzed, you got to make them pay, right? And what do we see right here? Julian Lewis, when blitzed, 73% completion, 11 of 15 for 192 yards and a touchdown. Phenomenal stuff. So there's another stat here that I did want to show. I think average depth of target when blitzed. My pen is getting in the way, but it's 14.3 yards average depth of target when being blitzed. So that shows us that he's not just hitting the check down. The blitz isn't just forcing him to hit it in the flats and they're able to keep us behind the chains, right? No. Julian showing that he can process where he needs to go with the football down the field, because when there's blitzing, there's going to be guys open downfield because you're bringing extra guys, right? Simple math. But I love to see that his average depth of target was beyond 10 yards at 14.3. That's great. And this is something that I was also surprised with looking at under pressure. He almost had about the same completion percentage, 72.7 for 90 yards, 8.2 yards per attempt. Where Julian struggled was actually when he was not blitzed. 13 of 22, 59% completion for 113 yards and a touchdown. Again, it's great he had no interceptions. Again, I give him an A++ for this first start, especially being on the road. I don't care if it was a 3-6 football team. You know what? They're a 4-6 football team now. So Yeah, this is something that I'm sure he will get better with over time. Hey, when you're dropping more guys back, you have to read the defense. It might not necessarily be a quick tell on, hey, this is where I'm going with the football, all that, all sorts of those things. I understand, but to me, it's very, very positive to see that he was a fantastic decision maker when pressured and when blitzed. You can work on all the other stuff. The game is going to slow down for him in those ways, especially again with a patchwork offensive line this past week. Yes, he took 7 sacks, but I think he could have taken a lot more, man, if it wasn't Julian Lewis back there, right? So, guys, I'm very, very happy to see his success. We can also take a look here at 85.7% completion percentage off of play action. That was great. And again, he had 298 yards off of no screens. Only 7 yards came off of screens. That's awesome. There's proof in the pudding. This isn't just gimmick stuff where Julian Lewis threw for almost 300 yards, man. I guess they gave him 305 yards on the day. Interesting. So yeah, I think that's about it, guys. All that's to say, Julian Lewis, man, he is the truth, and he is very good at football. And I can't wait to see how he performs the rest of the year. Now, I have said, don't red shirt or red shirt, right? It's not worth it. But hey, if Brian Howell is right on this and the red shirt's just going to go away and it's going to be 5 for 5, I cannot wait to see what he does over the last couple games of the season. What did you think of Julian Lewis? Like, subscribe, let me know in the comments. But it really should be he's the truth. That's all you should be really saying. Go Buffs.